fun. Guys, it's all about hanging out. We're just going to hang out, have a good time, make games together, do game dev together, enjoy life together, have fun together, make it happen together, make everything great together, enjoy our lives together, have conversations, and enjoy our presence. That's really what we're going to do today in today's Thomas Brush live stream. Hey, I wanted to say a huge thank you to the new students who joined full-time game dev. Ron, Kyle, Evan, Jesse, Brent, Thomas, Steven, Eric, Alyssa, Fabio. Yeah, the rest of them I've already said a million times. But thank you so much for joining full-time game dev. It means the world to me that you would, trust me with your game dev career. And hey, by the way, 9 days left, 23 hours to join full-time game dev. If you want to join a program taught by an actual indie game developer, this is the one. So this is my program, full-time game dev, 40% off. You can get 2D Art Pro and 3D Art Pro completely free, but only for this sale event. I don't do this sale event all the time. It's very infrequent. I think maybe I do it when the seasons change typically. So it's a big one. Check it out below. I believe there's less than 90 seats available. And by the way, look, students actually went full-time with the help of the program, including Chris Stair, Bart Mamser, Everflux Games. Guys, you might be wondering, Thomas, you're always doing these ad reads for your stuff. Supports the podcast, supports the channel, and it helps out a lot. So thank you so much for letting me do these ad reads and sponsor my content. Okay. Anything else? Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you what it's about. You're going to learn Godot, Unity, Unreal. You can take your pick which engine you want to learn, 2D or 3D. But you're also going to learn how to secure funding, how to go full-time. How do you actually take a demo and turn it into a paycheck? I know it sounds like a fairy tale. It's not a fairy tale. Hundreds, if not thousands, of game developers do it all the time. I've done it 3 times, so check it out below. See if it's something you're interested in. I'm going to tell you everything I've learned. I can't make any promises, but I can tell you what I've done. Join 4,500 students using the link below. If that's not for you, check out the webinar. Crap, hang on. Check out the webinar below. The webinar is how to make actual money with just a demo, right? For some reason, I'm getting redirected. I don't know. But there's a link below that's for a webinar. So check it out below. Okay, guys, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got a lot of fun. A lot of fun today. I'm going to show you the list. Remember yesterday we knocked out like 10 things? It felt so good knocking out all those tasks on our task list. I'm going to open up my task list in just a second. Let me open up the chat for you guys. And also I'm going to bring the chat over to this camera. Hang tight. Just a sec. Just a sec. Thomas, how about puzzle platformer games sales in 2025? Is it good? I don't know. But I just want you to make a good game. The older I get, the more annoying my advice gets, or the more principled and pretentious. Just make a great game. And it doesn't matter really what the genre is. Just make a really good game. That's really where my head is lately these days. Let me see if I can open up the chat correctly here. Come on in. Gordon, how you doing? How you doing, Gordon? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me pull up the chat. Hang tight, y'all. So, hold on. I'm going to open up. Here it is. Pop out chat. Put it right there. There you are. I'm on early today. Yeah, I am on a little early today. Mike Jemmy says, based on stats, no. Meaning, don't make a puzzle platformer. But what if it's a good one? That's the problem. What if it's a good puzzle platformer? I'm not personally interested in trying to match my genre to commercial viability. Because I know that I'm going to spend a year or 2 on my game. So I'm like, I just want to make a game I really want to make that is really good. So there you are, Gordon. Can you see me? Gordon? I hear a door slamming. Oh no, there's nobody. Okie dokie. Well, if the stream lags today, it's because I'm starting to upload video podcasts to Spotify. I'm really excited about this. I have a theory, and the theory is that Spotify is going to be a bigger channel for me than YouTube. I don't know where it's coming from. It's just a gut feeling. So we shall see. So I'm going to upload this. I'm going to start uploading the full video podcast to Spotify. And we'll see what happens to the views. I think it's going to explode. All right, let's take a look at our task list here, guys. Now, we talked about this yesterday, and I'm starting to show it to you guys more and more just because I want you guys to understand Thomas is making this game solo. He didn't always make this game solo, but Thomas is making this game solo right now. And even still, I'm using this task list. Okay? So this one, Chapter 2, which is the underwater theme park. Gordon, I actually agree with you. X is turning out to be an incredible platform as well for me. My views are way up on X. I upload full-length videos now on X. It's pretty solid. I'm enjoying the views and the fame. I am just so influential. Chapter 2. This is due April 11th. We finished Chapter 1 yesterday. So what do we have to do today? Well, we can't pick up the shotgun. I want to reevaluate the bake for -1 and -2 because it looks really muddy right now. We also need to ensure that the public domain tracks are good to go and that the music is good to go. So I'm actually going to move this up here because these are kind of one and the same. The music and the ambience and also these old school vinyl tracks playing in the distant halls. We want to make sure that those are working as well and that they're actually legal. So I'm going to sort of go through that process with you guys. Ensure voiceover plays underwater. I think we'll get that done today. The aquarium being breakable. I was up at 2 a.m. I'm always up at 2 a.m. I was thinking, how am I going to make aquariums breakable? Because there's huge aquarium walls. So we'll see. Make screaming enemy. This one is going to take a full day, which is basically a new enemy that screams at you. Good. Okay. Hitting enemies with the grapple kind of sucks. Gordon, I'm going to assign that one to you, okay? Oh, you're not on here. Hitting enemies with grapple isn't perfect. So I just said that. Rotation of spinning room script is bad. Make running woman scream at you like a real woman. I could probably do that today. Like that. Something like that. Floor -1. Light bake is too bright. Create new super fun balloon type for Chapter 2. I'm thinking of spinning starfish. So when you whack it, it goes... So we can do that. Spinning trident is going through the wall. We can fix that. Secondary fire for Marble Matey. That one is a little bit difficult to do. Yeah. That's right, Gordon. Shotgun upgrade explanation. We need that. So yeah, lots of stuff to do today. My theory is that if we go for the next... Honestly, we could go for the next 3 hours. I feel like we can get a lot of this done. You guys ready to roll? Let's go. Can't pick up shotgun. I have a theory that this one is not true and that I was stupid when I was testing the game. You can't pick up the shotgun when you already have it, and I think I had given myself the shotgun with a cheat code when I wrote this one down. So my theory is we're going to knock this one out pretty quick, but let's just go ahead and I'll take you guys to floor -1 with me if you want, just so you can see how it looks. I'm not sure if I've really ever shown this area too much. Chris just tuned in as soon as Thomas screamed. Sylvan, you want some Ian N? It does a muscle emoji for some reason. Guys, leave a like. Leave a like. And by the way, I want to ask you a question while we wait for this to load. How many of you right now are working on your game? Home says it. Cyberrev says it. Leonidas is. Tara's in Godot. Oh, Godot. Jaren, I'm working on my game now. Kyle, yep. Christian, Mike Jemmy. Mike Jemmy's always with us. It's just awesome having Mike Jemmy with us. Do you guys want to see... I could show you in floor -1, actually, the difference between a bake and a real-time. The difference between a bad bake and a good real-time bake. I'm sorry. The difference between a bad bake, a good bake, and real-time. You're going to see all three. But first, before we do that, I want to take a look at what's going on with the shotgun pickup. So we have our pump action shotgun pickup right here. I'm going to press F. It's going to fly me to the moon right here. Okay. So it's right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring myself over here and see if it can be picked up. I think it'll be just fine. Gordon, you're reading the Bible, dude? You're reading about Jonah? Gordon, I'll tell you a story. I was doing the dishes 3 nights ago, and I felt like God was trying to say something. So I stopped. I turned all the music off. I listen to music while I do the dishes. And I felt like God was like, boom, 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 on the door in my head. And I said, what are you trying to say? And I felt like he was trying to say, you need to be doing something different. Like you need to do something different with your career or something. And so I told him, I said, well, why don't you just Jonah me? Because I don't know what you're saying, so why don't you just Jonah me? Whoa, hello, oh no. So I don't know what he was saying, but I'm serious. It's like, if you want to Jonah me. I don't know what you want. Okay, you can't pick it up officially. Isn't that crazy? What? Let's double check. That's wild. I wonder if it's the name. Isn't this the shotgun? Gordon, I don't know what that would mean. I don't know why this isn't working. So this one in particular just doesn't work. There's the box collider right there. There's a standing pickup trigger, which is there. This is huge. This right here is massive for some reason. That makes 0 sense. Hang on. Let's make it smaller. Okay, so it's just because the collider is way too big. Isn't it cool how the game kind of feels fun with just simple unset dressed graphics? All right, so that's the problem. Home says, what does Jonah mean? Well, guys, guess what it means. Go ahead and in the chat, what does it mean to, if you said, God, please Jonah me, what does that mean? Please, God, Jonah me. What does that mean? Thomas, I added your YouTube to my special thanks in my game. That's awesome. No, it's not a test level. What does it mean if you said, God, you can Jonah me if you want? No. Yep, that's right, Quantum. That's right. The thing is, we tend to, for some reason, we keep talking about God in these podcasts, but let's pretend God is real. I believe he's real. But if God is real, and let's pretend he made the whole world, and let's pretend that he does have your best interest in mind, would it be so crazy to tell him, hey, you can do what you want? Like, whatever you want from me, do that. I don't care. Even if it means you send me off to Zimbabwe. Just do it. Because if he's your creator, then who cares what he wants for you? What he wants for you is probably better than what you want. You know? I thought I wanted to make games as a career, and I hate my life now. Gordon. Okay, so let's double check and see if this works. Mr. Melancholy is like, are we really going to talk about this again? Are we going to do this annoying sermon again? All right, so this one is going to be fixed. Yay! But we need to rename it. What's the story of the guy who lost his family and stayed faithful? That's Job. Job, in my opinion, is the most profound Bible story of them all. Basically, it at least gives an answer to all the people who think that Christianity does, or at least Judaism and Christianity, doesn't try and address the idea that God, how could God create such a cruel world? The answer that Job offers is, stop asking questions. Just don't ask. It's none of your freaking business. That's the answer. I'm just saying it at least tries to address it. Okay, so I don't like the name. Hover description, it needs to be shark gun. And the optional on-screen description needs to be shark gun. Okay, good. Do you hate your career or do you hate your current... I'm just joking. Hey, I liked your demo. I like everything about Twisted Tower. That's awesome. Got it. I really want to put poop splatter all over the walls. Do you guys want to do that? That would be hilarious. But that's for another day. My back tattoo is probably going to be Job. How do you know what he looks like? All right, guys. Task completed. I'm telling you, it feels amazing. Yeah. I think I can go ahead and knock out the voiceover not playing when you go underwater. I can do that pretty quick here, actually. So let's just go to play mode here. I think sometimes the people around us influence us to hate our career. Could be. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up. We're going to max out our health. Gordon made this script, by the way, for the... I believe... Gordon, didn't you make the breathing script here, bud? Or the... where you get hurt underwater? Okay, let's go ahead and go to our audio mixers here. And I know for a fact that the low pass is way too intense. So let's go to our SFX. Is it our music? Yeah, SFX. That's... Good. Okay, so I think the low pass being at 5900 is good enough. Let's double check this. This is one of the issues. You made the drowning script. Gordon, this is one of the best scripts in the game. I am totally unsurprised that you made it. I think that you've done an incredible job and you make the best scripts. Only the good scripts are Gordon's. Daryl says, can you explain to me about high resolution textures and images and importing them into Unity? There's file size for your project. There's file size for your game. Okay? File size for your project doesn't really matter. This project, I think it's at 100 gigabytes. It's freaking huge. And it's all on Git. They're all PSDs. Everything is massive 4K resolution. Unity compresses everything down when you do a build. So you want everything to be pretty high res and non-destructive if you can. Thomas, his underwater sound also distorted? Yeah, like to a degree. Let's hear it. Oh, that's much better. Okay, let's see if we can hear the voiceover. Gordon Arbor says, my son basically just said you're brown nosing. I gotta look that up. It's probably perverted. Curry favor by acting in an I'm not currying favor, Gordon. That's called sarcasm. Big difference. I'm being an, what do you call it? An ass? Publicly in front of 219 people? Oh, goody. The podcast is now available on Spotify. Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to publish this Thomas Maller podcast really quick. Before you publish any episodes, you need to verify your email address. Oh, jeez. Hang on, guys. One sec. I'd love to, but you didn't send it to me. I'm trying to do something on Spotify really quick, guys. Thomas, did you animate characters using the riggage package in rigging? Oh, there we go. Okay, it's not here yet. Got it. Wait, I need to resend it. Hold on. Thomas, did you animate characters using the rigging package in Engine or in Blender? Neither. I just did that in Mixamo. All of the animations are Mixamo, and then I would tweak the animations in Unity. So yeah, I did some animation in Unity, and I would use the Bone Renderer tool. Okay, guys, I'm about to publish for the first time a video episode on Spotify. Let's see. Okay. I'm excited. Yay! So I think it's on Spotify. Let's share it. I'm going to share it on Twitter, and then I'm going to click the link, and we'll see. The full-length episode, the full-length Thomas Maller episode is on Spotify now. Full video, too. Smiley face. Let's see if it worked. I've been going around in circles and I don't know what to do. Here we go. Really? Page not found. Golly. See, that's the problem with, what's it called? Spotify and YouTube. The big difference is on Spotify, you've got just this slow, clunky user interface for creators. They're trying to be YouTube, but YouTube, it's instant, it's simple, it's easy. But I really do believe that, yeah, it's not up. It's not freaking up. Well, let's wait for it to load. Anyway, let's go back to Unity here. Why did I switch the Unity animator? Well, Spine is for 2D, Gordon. Spine, I only used Spine because Unity didn't have an animation tool at the time. So yeah, I would probably use Unity if I was doing 2D. Did you ever consider getting a mocap suit during development? No. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and do a bake here. Some of the worst parts of and remember what I told you. We're going to talk about the difference between real time and a baked lighting. Okay, real time, you're going to see shines. You're going to see normal maps because it knows where the source is. Because shines and normal maps, those are all directionally based. They need directional information. Now, we don't have any light maps currently, so this is all real time. Look how beautiful it looks. Let's look at what a bad bake looks like. You could do an indirect intensity with an albedo boost of 1.5. And I can move this over here if you want. Maybe up here, just so you can see for now. I'm going to generate the lighting. We're only doing it at 2 texels. And 2 texels isn't the reason it's going to look bad. The reason it's going to look bad is because it's over brightening the whole scene. So shadows make a huge difference. So if I do an albedo boost of 1.5 and indirect intensity of 1, you're going to see everything get really flat. Do I use Photoshop for 3D texturing? We, meaning Felipe and I, we worked together. So I did a lot of texturing for flat surfaces with Photoshop, but he did a lot of texturing, the models, the custom models with Adobe Substance 3D Painter, which is the new name, which is hilarious. Did you drop the light design on this game? What? Did I do the light design? Yes, I did. I mean, I let it. So Felipe did like a first pass, and then I would go in and certain levels I'd do a whole scrub through the whole level and tweak it. And then I'd say, hey, Felipe, and we'd do a call, and I'd say, this is kind of how I want it to look. I'm a big fan of less is more. So one big light in the room that casts shadows is way better than 10 lights that are all baked. Mike, Jemmy, are you going to try and attempt this? We're trying to get it on Switch, yeah. Why is the protagonist referred to as Tiny? Well, you're going to have to buy the game and give me your money to find out. Right? Okay, the bake is done. This room, did it get baked? Well, it's unlikely. Why? Because we're seeing shines. So this is real time. This one right here, why is it real time? Well, because like I said earlier, it's only one. It's one light, but this one, that's baked. And see, if I disable it, what happens? Nothing. Look, you can see that it's baked by how flat this area looks over here. But there's some shine because it's receiving information over here. Okay, so this is our first bake. And it feels fine. It's a little flat looking, like areas like this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to drop the albedo boost and the indirect down. Now, I'm curious if we actually have light probes, because I shouldn't be seeing a door that's that dark. Here's our light probe group. Yeah, it's not fully, yeah, there's some issues with the light probe. Yep. It's not perfect. So we're going to redo the light probes. Delete selected. Select all, delete. And then I'm going to go to Window, Generate Light Probes. And we're going to do a nice probing here. Generate probes. Yeah, have you guys seen this area before? Have you seen this level before? By the way, we talked about this yesterday. How is the probing occurring? The probing is occurring by finding the nav mesh surfaces, and it generates probes. A light probe is pretty straightforward, okay? Let me draw it for you. Okay. A light probe is, this is a real-time light, and it contains information in it. A real-time light it can be dynamic, meaning it can be moving around. And it's also, what's the other D? I just had it in my head. It's dynamic and it's directional. Dynamic, directional. A light probe is a very simplified version of it. It's a very simplified version of it, and it's easier on the GPU and the CPU. A light probe is just a static informational point that says, hey, increase the albedo in this area. And as you move from light probe to light probe, that information is being absorbed into the dynamic objects. Light probes don't affect static objects. They only affect dynamic objects. So for example, if I'm the player and I have a gun and I'm moving through a static area with baked lighting, I want to know my gun needs to receive some kind of light information, right? And so as I move through these probes, they're going to slowly add information to the gun. So it feels like I'm moving through real-time lighting, but it's way, way cheaper on the GPU and the CPU. One or the other, I don't know which one. It's also not directional. Well, what happens if you don't have directional light? Well, you don't get metallics. You don't get shine with the whatever that. Why am I missing specular? You don't get specular information. You don't get normal maps. You don't get height maps. You get none of it. That's why it's going to look like toon shading if you bake too much. All right, we've generated our light probes. Now we can go ahead and generate our lighting. So our light probes have now been added to this area over here. See? Now the pink, these lines are just connected doors. So the doors all have light probes on them in their prefabs. I don't know why the pink shows up, to be completely honest with you. Does that make sense, Dane? Guys, does that make sense what I said? A lot of people might go, oh man, but the light probes it just doesn't look the same. Thomas, it just doesn't look the same. Welcome to game dev, you know? Yes, you can make your game look amazing in Unreal Engine, but your PC might run like a toaster because you've got directional information all over the place. That's awesome, Rachel. Okay, so baked light's done. How's the reflection probe? Let's take a look at it. I use one reflection probe in the whole scene. One probe is enough, baby. So this is the reflection probe. It's decent. Okay? So guys, I think overall the scene's going to look fine. Let's double check. I'm going to turn off the gizmos. We just want to scrub through this whole scene and see how everything feels. So again, if you see shines, you know there's a real-time light somewhere. You just know it. If you see normal maps, you know there's a real-time light. Boom, right there. You get really good at identifying it. You can also identify areas that are clearly baked. This is obviously baked. The metallics are kind of weak. The normal maps are non-existent. It actually looks good as is. I'm not sure. Man, that's troublesome right there. I don't know why you can't see the metallic there, whereas you can see it here. I want to kind of reduce the metallic on this, to be completely honest with you. I'm going to turn it off. I just don't want metallics on it. Yeah, there we go. That's all we needed to do. We just reduced the metallic. The metallic on this, highly intense. You know, do you really need it like that? You know, look what happens when you take it off. So metallic information gets very lost, very, very lost in a bake. Yeah, this looks a little ugly in here. It's primarily because of the reflection probe. The reflection probe is causing some problems. Like that's rough. That's rough. I'm tempted to put a reflection probe in this room, but there's this thing with indie games. It's called getting it done, right? Like, let me show you. If I turn off the reflection probe, what happens? Looks pretty good. So my theory is that the reflection probe, I think that's a bad room to sample, honestly. I'm going to sample a very grayish room, very generic room. And I'll explain what this means in just a sec. This looks about right. Something like this. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to move it over here. Okay. And I believe I'll be able to bake this again, and it will sample this room. There we go. Okay. Now let's zoom out and see how big the reflection probe is. Yep, big enough, right? Huge. So it really comes down to sampling where you want, like which area looks the absolute most representative of your entire scene. Unless you just want to do a bunch of reflection probes, right? And you want to create like a grid of reflection probes, which honestly I might do before we finish up the final game. So does that make sense? Let me open up this reflection probe really quick. Okay, so there's our reflection probe. If I turn it off, this is what you get. If I turn it on, this is what you get. So you want to make sure that every single room kind of looks decent. Lighting is brutal. Lighting is, Gordon is absolutely correct. I would say lighting is the hardest thing for me to grasp, but I've pretty much figured it out. I would say I would give myself a B in my understanding of lighting. Yep, look, this looks so much better. So all it was I just needed to sample a different room. That vibrant blue room just wasn't representative of the whole level. So this solved a ton of problems in our game. I mean, even that looks amazing, right? Looks good there too. So honestly, really, really good. I might need to reduce the albedo. No, I think it's good as is, actually. Let's go to our game manager here, clear everything out, and see how it looks. You think I'm a B+, Gordon? It is more work, and there's so much I have. Oop, park entrance, that's wrong. I'm going to rename it to Mermaid Palace. So you can see the metallic information has been lost in certain spots. That looks weird. Just a shadow being cast. I have a theory that the reflection probe is not over here. Let's double check. No, it is. Yeah, so the reflection probe makes it look shiny. Super dark. I need to add some lights down here. Remember we did these 3 days ago? Looks good. Okay, lights in the tunnels. We need to put that there really quick. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add just subtle lights to those tunnels. They're just a little too dark in there, so I'm going to add this one here. And I'm just going to go to those tunnels here. I'm going to make sure I paste them in the right spot. I've always, this one spot, this game, you know, this is like 0.01% of the entire game. This one spot right here has been it's been on my mind for, I don't know, every day for the last 3 years or 2 years, this one spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it over here, and we're just going to give us some light, you know, that's all we need. -90, what would this be, 275? Guys, what is this value, 265 or 280? What is it? Why is freaking rotation snapping not on? So annoying. There we go. All right, so that's basically centered there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this super bright, and I'm going to turn off that volumetric because I don't want anything that's distracting the player in this one spot because they're learning how to swim right here. Let's turn that off, and then this one here, crank up that brightness, baby. And that's a baked light. We're going to set it to real time, crank up the intensity. I just want the player to be able to see right here. We'll do it on both sides. Crank up the range so that when they look down, they see, okay, I need to go down there, right? And I'm okay with it actually being baked now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, we can do a bake. We're going to do one here. This will be baked. And then one here as well down here. Yeah, this area was so dark. -180. And this is related. This is not feature creep. This is related to the gameplay experience, and it's also related to the lighting task. I'm going to turn off snapping really quick. For some reason, we have a weird rotation value right there. We're going to set it to 0 and move it down like that. Okay, that way the player can freaking see, right? There we go. That's going to be set to bake as well. I'm going to take these, group them together. We're going to call these tunnel lights. The reason why is because I want to paste them inside of this one over here. But that one and then this one over here, same ones. So I'm going to take this. Oh, good. It's all part of the same parent object, so that's good. So I don't need it inside of a new object. Local. Center. No, I think that's good enough. Crap. That's fine. Maybe I can just move this one. There we go. Then this one here. It'll make sense, I promise, guys, why I'm doing this. Mr. Nev, I agree. And let's fix this. I am not a fan of darkness lately. I think that darkness is a big problem. Like a lot of people, I've played so many horror games from indies in my audience, and they're all so dark, and it's like, can you scare me in other ways? I know darkness, it's valuable, but there's got to be some other ways to do it. Contrast, we reduce it. Post exposure, we're going to do 0.1, maybe even 0.2, 0.3 even. That way it looks muddy, but you can clearly see, right? There's no issue seeing. Sorry, I'm itching my nose. I know that's gross. Why is it that volume, you can't look into it? You know what I mean? I wish if you looked into it, you would see it, but I understand the problem. The swimmable water, my theory is, man, sorry guys, my nose itches. There we go. We can see it like that now, so it feels more natural going into it. We'll go a little bit more blue and a little bit desaturated. Horizon, no. I think it's good enough. Okay, let's go to play mode here. Actually, let's do our bake. Oh, this is from Dane. I couldn't agree more. I can never play games with a ton of darkness for longer than 30 minutes. Yeah, I agree. Using darkness is better in small smatterings. I totally agree with that. Sorry, my nose itches so bad. Give the players some room to breathe, you know? And the whole having a flashlight at all times really bothers me too. This game used to have a flashlight, and players would just turn it on and leave it on. And then I created a battery, and the battery was annoying. So I just said, you know what? Let's just make the game... why did it do that? That's fine, I guess. It looks like it's warm. Oh, it's because it doesn't have real-time information. Duh. So let's try and fix it now that we can see what it looks like with a bake. So that looks awful. Deep. Yeah, we might just want to set it to something like that. So that going into it doesn't feel too jarring. Yeah, guys, honestly, I think that's good enough. Will you release the soundtrack when you release the game? Yes. Resident Evil, all of them do an incredible job with darkness. Oh, that feels really good. Honestly, that's great. It feels good. It feels like it's real. So we're doing like a couple things here. We didn't test Mr. Twister's voice, and that's an issue. When he talks to us in the previous build, you can't hear anything. So let's see if we fix that with the audio mixer really quick. Here.
Hi. I'm surprised you made it to my first attraction, the Mermaid's Parliament.
Okay, you can't hear it. We'll pause it really quick. You can't hear it. So we're going to go to his voiceover in swimming mode. Oh, wow. It needs to be at 0. That's crazy. Why would I do that?
To beta. I hope you enjoy the crystal clear views, the beautiful mermaids, the slippity-dippity slides. After decades of not a single guest, I was starting to wonder if you were lost into my award-winning film. Such romantic tale of mermaids, pirates, and unrestricted love.
Okay, we're going to try one more time. You're right. We don't need that. This isn't feature creep because it's going to take me 5 seconds. Let me answer the phone really quick, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Let's jump in here again. What was the issue? Where were we? We were taking a look at... What were we taking a look at? Check 1 2 1 2. Check check check. It's a little quiet. Check 1 2 1 2. Check 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 check. There we go. Is that better, guys? Okay. Let me sec here. What was I doing? Oh, right. Footsteps shouldn't play if you're swimming. That's totally fine. Watch this. Animated functions, footstep, and play if the player is not swimming. And if the player is not swimming, then sure, go ahead and play all the sounds. You know, no big deal. Okay, you guys ready? Gordon, I don't care about that personally. It's a good question, but I don't care if his voice doesn't get distorted. The way it feels when you're playing it is it almost feels like a walkie-talkie. It makes sense for some reason. I don't know why, and I watch people playing the game. If it automatically starts playing, the player feels as if it's outside of the game itself, and it's sort of narrating the story. And people will just keep moving. So for example, if I set this TV to autoplay, right? And then let's see here, run once. It'll feel fine. Okay, who's Corey Barlow? Corey Barlog. Let's look that up. I sure hope he's not a weirdo. Oh gosh. I'm just kidding, by the way. Corey looks like a very nice video game designer. He does look like me. Okay.
Tiny, I'm surprised you made it to my first attraction. The Mermaid Palace water park. All that flailing about had me worried you were attacked.
Look, now there's no footstep sounds.
I hope you enjoy the crystal clear pools, the beautiful mermaids, the slippity-dippity slides. People have lost interest in my award-winning film. Such a romantic tale of mermaids, pirates, and...
Awesome. Okay. The bake feels good. Wait, are sound effects playing when I walk? Let's see. Wait, I don't want the footsteps to go away entirely, so let's double check. That one doesn't exist. I need to add it. Neither is that one. I hope that's not why. I don't know why sounds aren't playing. What's this one tagged as? That's not even tagged as wood. Oh boy. Okay, let's go to our footstep manager. Or our sound manager. And let's see what's going on here. Let's double check that this isn't the problem. Okay. Select this tile. Select this texture, I mean. Okay. Right here. Okay, that's the name. We're going to go to our sound manager again. And we're going to add it. It looks like it's already there. So for some reason it's not playing. What? Stop it. Hang on. Okay, I think I added the right one. All right, so now we should hear that sound playing. Yeah. There we go. It makes a big difference. This one doesn't. So we're going to add that one as well. Frankly, if we went to all of our poly shapes and just tagged them as... If we tagged every single poly shape as marble, we'd be fine. Like this. Instead of doing the texture work. Just to be sure. But we'll see. We'll see. Awesome. But while we're at it, let's just go ahead and add this texture really quick. And the texture is, which one? This one right here. That texture is not added to our list of sounds it's basically a list of textures that are checked, and if you're standing on it, it plays a marble sound. So we'll just add this one, and then we'll move forward with our this is why it's so important to have a list, because guys, I could do this all day, and it would be a real problem because I would never get anything done. You gotta pick things that are important. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our list here. Making progress, eh? Ensure voiceover plays when underwater. Got it. I'm going to worry about floor -2 bake really quick, and then we'll come back and worry about music and ambience. Oh. Yes, Gordon. However, I think you have to lock one of them for that to work. Don Vermo says it's giving... Oh, Don Vermo. I remember that name for some reason. Sound design is awesome, by the way. Music and ambience gives me chills. Yep. It is good. If I do say so myself, I really like it. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and just wrap up these 2 bakes really quick. So same sort of thought process with floor -2. Floor -2 is more of like a sewer. So... Gordon, the TV should autoplay. It's almost a forced sort of dialogue that plays right now. So this right here, there's a lot going on in this shot. I know for a fact that I would much rather have 2 turrets. I just know this for a fact. Right over here. These spiders are kind of annoying. There's just too many of them. That's the benefit of playing through your demo, guys. Playing through your game. Play through the whole game before you start making changes. And that's also why it's really hard to, do a GDD, because it's like until you play the whole thing, you don't really know what's needed. Gordon, we're about to use one of your scripts. Solve for repeated GUIDs. Good. But we're going to make sure we go to the elevator and revert this guy back to his original. There we go. But the problem with that is you have to go all the way back down because it generated GUIDs for this, and we don't want that. So I wish the script would just ignore it. Ignore generating GUIDs for this. So we have to revert it and then go back and change these freaking elevator doors. So I believe we have an ugly elevator door. Oh my. I don't know where it is. There it is. Okay. I know it doesn't make sense what I'm doing, guys. I'm not saying you're too dumb. I'm saying I haven't fully explained why I'm doing what I'm doing. Just trust me. I think this one maybe? There it is. Yep. That way, okay, what happened is I generated GUIDs to solve for those the turrets. But the problem is it generated GUIDs for the elevator as well, and we don't need to generate GUIDs for the elevator. So I had to revert the elevator, but when I reverted it, the textures got screwed up, so I have to go back and fix the textures. It's a annoying process. What am I doing? This level, we need... And I don't have a song like that. So there's certain levels where you just know, okay, I need a driving song for this one. Mainly, it's if the level's kind of boring, honestly. When it's a boring level, I think the music needs to change. But anyway, I don't love I don't love these spiders here. The player needs a break, so I'm going to get rid of them. And this is a great place for the player to, honestly, take a breather. Okay, but the bake on this level, is it okay? It's not horrible. What we're going to do is, let's do another bake, but with these settings being, I'm going to do 1 and then make this one a little lower. I want it to be kind of a darker level. Diego says, bro, I love your game. Hey, Dragon, welcome. Yeah, so what Gordon is saying is you duplicate this. Or you got a window. Can you do it? How do you do it? I thought there was a duplicate here. Add tab, yeah, there we go. And then you lock this one. So if I select, say, this right here, and then this one is not. So it's like that. So you have 2 different ones like this. So you can see 2 different objects, right? And drag and drop between the 2. So if I wanted an inspector window that always showed my sound manager, for example, I could do that. So for example, let's say you have, this is helpful with things like scriptable objects. If I wanted to, I would lock the scriptable objects and say, this is my scriptable objects pane, and it's always here. And then this one changes, right? So I can go through even and add, grab stuff here, drag it into my scriptable object, right? Okay, I think the bake is done. It looks fine. By the way, guys, baking doesn't just work, right? It doesn't just work. You have to go through every single light in your level and determine which one you want baked, which one you don't want baked. It's kind of a really sort of surgical process. This is a little dark, isn't it? It's not horrible. In my opinion, the indirect needs to be boosted. AKA, what does that mean when I say that? Well, we kind of want the shadows to be boosted a little bit. So we're going to do 1.3. And we're going to watch what happens to these shadows. Hopefully the shadows will be elevated a little bit. By the way, when you have progressive update on, which is this, it's going to work on it's going to try to prioritize what you're looking at first during the bake. Now, some of these are real time, so we're not going to see any indirect lighting being painted onto the scene. I think that looks better. It's so subtle, you know? How do you make a decision which to bake and which not? Man, it's hard to, you think about it kind of like a director. You think, okay, where do I need shadows? You know, does this area need to feel a little bit more high fidelity? Does this need to feel a little creepier? Do I need shadows right here? Are there too many real-time lights in this one spot? Is this going to be a flickering light? In this case, it is. Stuff like that. It's hard. It's really hard, and I'm not perfect by any means. These spiders, I know for a fact we need to make them bigger. We're gonna unlock this. Oh yeah, it's right there. I know these need to be 0.7, and then I also know that the blood particles die. Come on. That probably needs to be a little bit bigger. Maybe even 5. Okay, so I know that, and that's on the task list, by the way. I just figured I'd do it already. Also, the spider, the standard spider, he's too small. We're going to do 0.65, 0.65. I'm about to get rid of the yarn look on them. this yarn look. I believe I have a different texture that I could use. Let's see. With no normal map, let's double check. Yeah, that looks so much better. Really shiny. And the emissive, this new one here, that's way better in my opinion. Yeah. The yarn ones, they're not scary. So I'm good with that. We should have a normal map for it, actually. There we go. There we go. Do I have a new one, though? So that's the blue spider. What about the normal spider? Do we want to make him look ugly, too? Because right now he's made out of yarn, you know, which is like, okay, that's funny, haha, Coraline. But at this point in the game, it feels like they belong here in this world. Like most of the enemies in the game are toys. But, and by the way, again, we're not derailing from our task list right now, guys. This is on my task list. I know it is, but I'm looking at these spiders. Might as well just do it really quick. So this spider here, do we have spider diffuse? There it is. It's red. There's a PSD. Ooh, this is gonna be so gross. Let's swap this out. Go back to what we originally had. Remove the emissive. Why is it? Wait, what? That's the mother. I wonder why we're editing the mother. Okay, well, we'll do this. So the mother has kind of got a heart emissive. Give me a sec. She should have a heart on her. Let's double check our emissives. Oh. No, yeah. Crap. I just don't know why she's got weird coloring like that. I could have sworn I had a heart on her. So that's the mama spider. And they spawn other spiders. Which is cool. You guys want to just go ahead and get this heart thing out of the way? So that's a cross, right? Meaning it's sort of, it says, hey, I'm about to explode. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that cross and I'm going to make one that's a heart. Give me just a sec. We'll do a little bit of a fade on the edges. And then we're going to call this heart. Flip it upside down. Here we go. Choose your battles, guys. That's what I always say. Is it good enough? I think it's good enough. All right, the last one we want to fix really quick is the spider. The standard spider, which is here. We're going to make him shiny too. We're going to add the correct normal map. Increase the shine. I think that's it. The spiders were never scary, and it's because they look soft. If you make them look really gross and shiny, it feels so much better. They're so much scarier, which is what we want, right? Okay. Now this is an asset. Yeah, the spider, I did not have an artist develop this one. And that's not something I'm super proud of, to be honest. Well, it looks good though. What was I doing? Oh, we got the bake done. It looks good. The metallics look good. Let's double check our reflection probe. It's a little dark, isn't it? So we're going to position the reflection probe in somewhere that's a little bit more standard looking. Honestly, what you want to do, in my opinion, is put it in a spot that looks pretty bland and not too extreme. Like this would be a bad move. So we're going to put it somewhere like right here before we do a bake. This is actually not bad. Let's try that. Let's bake it. And then we'll do, you just want to make sure it's massive. Yeah, it's big enough. It's covering a ton of the scene. All right, so let's go to Game Manager, clear all the save data and enter play mode and take a look. Crap. Our spawn point's wrong. No, actually, I think it's okay. Yeah. So this is the one where you drop down. I see. So we're good. We're good. I wish I could have a Zen. Feels pretty good. You know what I don't see is I don't see fog. Why? Let's take a look at the enemies. That felt good. Is it even baked? Yeah, it looks really good. This is way too dark. We're gonna fix this. Also, those cannons. Feature creep, feature creep, feature creep. It's my first commercial release PC. PC good. No, but the spiders feel good to shoot. Those are good to go. Where are we? Okay. This felt so bland, so I'm going to use a little bit of... I'm going to teach you guys a little bit here. First off, these, you need to be able to hear them shooting, honestly. So it's so funny. My intuition when I made these was to make the audio source 2D. And then I changed it, but now I think I was right. They're going to be 2D. You want to hear it because I couldn't hear it just now, and it felt really unfair. I started getting shot. We also need a light source. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this. I want to show you guys a trick. I want some asymmetry here. The spotlight is mixed. I'm going to remove it. And then this one right here, I want a broad point light. So I'm not going to have a spotlight there. Instead, I'm going to make this a point light. And I just want this to be nice and broad. I didn't know there was a secret area over there. Nice and broad with shadows. Like I said, guys, you know, I don't really care about realism. So I would rather do this. Nice and broad here. Plenty of light hitting throughout the level. Okay, let's turn off the... That feels so much better. And then we're going to do one green one on this side. So I'm going to turn this one off. I love asymmetry. When it comes to lighting, I like symmetry in level design. I don't like symmetry with lighting, which is perhaps an inverted way of thinking of things. But that's where my brain goes, so that's just what I'm going to do. I can't replace this one. Let's just turn it off. And then we're going to take this. Let's clear the bake. Yeah, this area feels particular. Ooh, we got some issues. Yeah, we need to do an albedo boost. That feels so much better. Oh, yes. I'm tempted to do no shadows. Yeah, we're going to do no shadows for this area over here. Just like that. And I just want to be able to see everything. Especially if I'm going to get shot at by these cannons. Soft shadows. There we go. Yeah, we can just reduce the strength. I had no idea this existed over here. Good enough. That one's set to real time because it flickers, which is cool. What about this one? This one should be set to baked. We'll just do a full bake. And then we'll bake. And remember what I said? We're going to do a little bit of an albedo boost, so 1.3. Just to fill in the shadows a little bit. Have you ever made a game for mobile? Yes, I've made 3 games for mobile. One of them was called Crunch of Numbers. It was a puzzle game. It's no longer on there. Pinstripe was on there. And then Neversong was on there as well. Pinstripe, I oversaw the porting. Crunch of Numbers, I did the port. Neversong, I didn't touch the port. My publisher did all that. All right, let's watch the bake. You guys can see it filling in right now. And it's a really low texel bake. I'll do a high texel bake before the game launches. And that'll be like every night. So I'll go to bed at night and I'll do like a 40 texel bake and then wake up in the morning, double check it. And then the next night I'll do the next level, 40 texel bake. Do you see why I did what I did, guys? Does this look a lot better? Do we agree? So there's asymmetry here. Feels a lot more, in my opinion, professional. These look like Metroid Prime 4. I wonder if we need to make the normal map. Yeah, let's make the normal map a little stronger. It looks like there's a rim light. It's not. It's the reflection probe. Okay. Well, I mean, we did the is this URP? Yes, it's URP. We did that task. We baked the light. Good. I'm going to go ahead and clear these out. Done. Done. Music and ambience. Thomas, what does the texel count do? The texel count basically just says how high a resolution is the grid that's looking at all of the lighting as it's baking it. So if you want a higher resolution bake with strong shadows and clean, very high resolution data, you're gonna do a higher texel count, like 40. But if you want a quick bake and you just want to get it rough and dirty and get like a general idea, then just do 2. But you're not gonna get all those strong shadows. Those strong shadows I'll get when I'm finalizing the game. These are great. I love these. Okay, so there's a song that we're gonna use for this chapter that Chris Palazos wrote for me, and I'm not sure what it's called. This is good. Oh, this one's great, Chris. That's the one. So yeah, first off, let's just do the exploring music. I was tempted to redo the music, but how do we rate this song, guys? Out of 10, how do we rate this? Rate it 1 out of 10. Isn't it good? Yeah, I think this is perfect. So while I'm down here though, guys, don't let me forget, we're gonna fix the music, but I was down here, this is the last portion of the level, and I thought to myself, man, it's so bland. I really don't want to have to, add any details here. So what you can do is you can create gradients across an entire room. So let me show you. We've got this here. It's disorienting for one, because it's like, where am I, right? So let's first off think about the destination. The destination's here. So I'm going to crank this up like this. Okay. And we're going to go to real time for now, just so we can change the strength. Yep, there we go. Reduce the strength a little bit and go back to baked. Okay, so this is one area, but let's make it look like a gradient. So you're going to have red bleeding all the way over there. Okay, like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to think, okay, well, let's do a different color over here. So I could take this light here, and I'm going to bring it over here. I promise this will make sense. This is a really quick and dirty way to make an indie game look a little bit more professional. So we're going to think about the starting point. Where is the starting point? I believe that's the starting point, and this is the middle point. So if this is the middle point, I think I'm cool doing sort of a halfway color, the way I'm thinking about it. So we're going to do blue. Why am I doing blue? Because I've seen green for the first half of this level, so let's change it up a little bit. Again, it's a really cheap way. What is 75% of 360? Is it 270? Yeah, I think. But anyway, guys, I'm going to make this one blue. Now, you'll notice that all of our emissives are pretty white. They're very white looking, like right here. And by the way, we don't have fog, so I need to add that in. But I'm going to do a pretty vibrant blue here. There we go. So here's our gradient. Now the question is that, look how cool this looks. Do you see why I did this, guys? Does everybody understand why I just did that? But we're going to desaturate just a tad. There we go. So that kind of matches. It doesn't bother me too much. Now, do not do this kind of work until you're sure the game is almost done. Please, 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 please. Because you're going to change it. So everything in this game, and I talked to Felipe about this when we were working together, everything was pretty flat. You had lights everywhere. And then what I would do is once the level was greenlit, stamp of approval, and it's done, I would go through and turn off lights, increase vibrancy, etc., etc., etc. This one the red will be baked. This one is going to flicker. Okay, so we're going to make this one flicker. We're going to go real time. We're going to flicker it with subtle and constant. This is a script I think that... No, I think I made this one. Subtle and constant. Good. For some reason, though, I believe we have some light coming from somewhere, and I think it's this. Yeah, I think it's the ambient lighting. But if I turned off this one, it should be almost black in here. Yeah. I'll be honest, guys, I kind of like it being just a red room, but that looks really cool. This one here, we can remove. So do you guys see why 2 lights is generally enough for an entire room? Look at this. Isn't that cool? All right. So let's go ahead and rebake now that we know that we like it. And one of the issues that we had was the fog wasn't showing up. Let's double check that. Fog chapter 2. I think at the brightness, we need to increase the brightness a little bit. I think every time I change this, that feels so much better. But the density is a little strong. So we're going to go to... No, it's the scale maybe? Yeah, there we go. And then this can be 0.8. 0.87. Very subtle. I'm going to go ahead and apply this prefab because I know I want this to be applied to floor -1 as well. All right. Very good. The bake has occurred. The red bake looks pretty good, actually. I'm surprised. I feel like that's not real time. Or I feel like that's not a bake. Let's double check. No, it is. And look, guys, if I remove it, light's still there. That's because we baked it. Uh-oh. We got some lights there that we don't need. And we'll do another rebake. Okay, so task list completed. Floor 1 and floor 2 bake. The music, we need to fix that. Jason, welcome. Jason says, creepy. This looks like Ocarina of Time under the well. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And I always hated that level. If you want to to bake a big warehouse, it is better from a dev point to do it with many small baked area lights or several big baked area lights. Is there a difference? I don't know what you're asking, Spectrum. I'm sorry. By the way, those of you just joining us, just remember you can join while we wait for this bake. Join Full-Time Game Dev. I'll give you a shout out tomorrow in the new student section of the stream. Check it out below, 40% off. Guys, it really means a lot that you let me sponsor my videos, that you let me do these ad reads. My live streams are typically sponsored by my course. In this case, it's the spring sale. You've got 9 days left, 40% off. You're going to get my 2D art program and 3D art program completely free, but only for this sale event, and it wraps up in 9 days. You also learn Unity, Godot, Unreal. You also learn how to get published, how to get funded on Kickstarter. Well, have my students been able to do it? I know I have, right? But are my students replicating my success? Well, Chris Stair did, Bart Mamser did, Everflux Games did, these reviews down here did. So just check out the reviews, see if it's something you're interested in, and join 4,500 students worldwide, from making a game to getting it funded before you even finish it, which I've done several times. That's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn from an actual indie game dev. If that's not for you, check out the webinar below. There's a free webinar below that you can check out as well. Okay, let's see if this bake is looking good. I think it looks great, honestly. This lighting in this, like this method for lighting, I also noticed this on El Paso Elsewhere. From Zollivier. Same sort of lighting techniques. It's a really cheap and effective way. I call it Suspirian lighting. And let me explain why. Give me a sec here. Has anyone seen Suspiria? The Italian version in 1977. Let's take a look. This is Suspirian lighting. Two contrasting colors opposing each other. And it's a really cheap and effective way to make something look very visually interesting. You can do backlighting to create rim light, right? You could create contrasted backlighting. So you could have a back rim light of red and then green in the front. Right? So, it's funny. I don't think Dario Argento did this in his future films, but his first films he would do this, and I think it was a great hallmark, and I wish he kept doing it. But been inspired ever since, and that's why what we're doing here is I call Suspirian, or I guess you could call it Argentoian, right? But I would always say, depends on the kind of game you're making, but if you're making like a horror game, choose cinematic over realism every day of the week. We would have conversations about this as a team, and I would always say, I don't care if it's realistic. I want it to feel cinematic, right? This one, because this is real time, I'm going to actually just go with the more yellow color, because that yellow color is throughout this whole level, and it's pretty disorienting. So I'm actually going to do this. It's disorienting to see too many shifts in tone. In hue, I mean. Okay. All right. That's great. Let's go ahead and take a look at our task list. Music and ambience. That's what we were doing. So the first thing I want to do is I want to give the player time to breathe when they enter a level. So I'm going to turn off my exploring music. The combat music will play if there's 3 or more enemies. And what I think I want to do give me a sec, guys. Give me a sec. I'm thinking through something here. We're not going to worry about we're only going to worry right now. You got to take it one step at a time, Thomas. The first thing we're going to worry about is just the level music, which is these 2 areas here. Is that our intro? Yeah. So we really don't need this one. I want it to be very quiet as they're going. He's going through the tunnels. We want a break. We want a break for the player. And then we're going to scale this up. And this is going to be music that plays the moment they cross the bridge and they enter the combat area. And this is going to be right here, Mermaid Palace exploring. Right here. This one. Yep. But we also need a rhythmic track that starts to play if there's too many enemies. Right? So this is the rhythmic track here. So this track here, yep, okay. I'm pretty sure that's what I want. So it's this track here is going to start playing if 3 enemies are following the player. 3 to 1,000. Yeah, therefore we want... 0.7, I think that's fine. This one... This minimum enemies for max volume. Oh yeah, that needs to be 0 to 3. And then this one is 4 to 1,000. So if 4 enemies are following the player, it's going to start going, right? We'll see how it feels, okay? Sometimes you just don't know. Now, there's an intro area here, which is going to have public domain music playing, which is, what is this? Okay, and also, I'm not sure about our reverb zones, but we'll take a look here in a second, see if our reverb is correct. But let's just enter play mode here and feel it out, you know? kind of feel like the public domain music we want gone. I want to hear screams. And laughs and stuff. Wait, why is there no impact? That's weird. We need to add that to our bug list. Surfaces are no longer having an impact. So weird. Good to know. Let's feel this out. If you imagine in the ambience, we have screams and stuff. I'll do that. We need to add that to our list. That can go a long way. This looks so much better. Okay, the music should begin here. So it's currently at 0.5. Yeah, let's do 0.8. Okay. So we just set that to 0.8, and then overall, I think we're good to go. So what I'm going to do, really quick, is I know for a fact that I want this ambience to feel a little bit more frightening and for the pool rooms. I mean, it's Mermaid Palace, but it's basically inspired by the pool rooms. So we're going to make sure that we bring in some screams and giggles and stuff. Quiet.
He's just around the corner.
Okay, and what we'll do is we'll break all this up. Each one gets its own little special spot. And you don't want it to be perfectly even. Every 30 seconds to a minute, you just get a cool little spot here. Okay. Okay, so what you want, we're gonna mix all this down, and we're gonna mix all. I'm gonna turn my fan on. We're gonna mix all this down, and we're gonna make sure we compress it properly. Normalize it if we can.
Tiny!
So this one's not gonna work because it's peaked. All right, generate silence here. Generate silence here. And then we're going to render these. And then what we want to do is just get a few screaming sounds as well. So the screaming sounds are, we're going to grab from artlist.io. Some kind of zombie screams or something like that. Oh, yes. That is what we want. And we want it to be a long echo. Because there's enemies that sound like that. And so you want to sort of get a flavor. Here's the truth. Obviously, you can make a game. You can make. What am I saying? You can make a game hard, and that's one way to make it scary. Another way is it's not too hard, but the sound effects make it feel hard. Now you can only get away with that for like maybe the first 2 hours of the game. So you want to be careful with that. But okay, let's do this. We're gonna do a lower pitched one for this. And this one we're gonna do low, change speed and pitch. High, let's just increase the pitch though, because I don't like it like that. That is what we want, y'all. Now, watch this. We're going to keep this one clean and dry. We're going to add a new stereo track, and we're going to add a reverb one here. Heavy. Heavy reverb. Right? See how simple this was? Okay, track. We're gonna make it less dry. Okay, good. Now, this one is only going to be used, we're going to sort of stack. And so because this level is a little bit scarier than the one previous to it, and it's now a sewer, I think this ambience we're going to use just for this last level of this chapter. So I'm going to call this one With Screams. That way, we're getting a new experience with the ambience just by going to this new level. Okay, so guys, look, seriously, you could get away with a ton of stuff by just mixing it into the sound. You don't have to use Fmod and add all these sound effects custom and dynamic, and they happen when you enter certain areas. You can have them on loop, honestly. So that one with screams, we're going to throw that in here, and we're going to see how it feels, okay? You ready? Do you see the value here, guys? Wait for it. Look, if we're playing this level for, I guess, 30 minutes, you'll hear the screams 30 different times. I don't know if it's frequent enough, though. There we go. We got one there. Trying to hear the sound. I can't hear it with that. Hold on. Yeah, it's too infrequent. Okay, so let's make it less infrequent. I'm going to go ahead and give it a hard limiter. There we go. So scary. I like it. All right, we'll save that. It should be a lot better, but we're gonna double check it, and we'll spawn ourselves up here. so scary. This is the value of having no music playing. I'm just waiting for it. There's one. Good. Someone stepped on a Lego. That's right. Waiting. There it is. Okay, and then we'll hear this one. Great. It feels great. All right. That's awesome. My intuition tells me that that we're good with the ambience there. So, music and ambience. That's done for floor -2. I want to double check the... I think it's fine. We'll polish it up more if we need to. We're going to go to floor -1 and adjust accordingly. I want to double check. Yeah, we need to double check the combat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these enemies. I'm going to save this really quick. And then I'm going to take these spiders and see what happens when we have 5. What happens to the combat music, right? It should start playing combat music. We just don't want it to be too loud. Those are super loud. I'm going to fix those. I think it could be louder, the combat music. So we're going to go ahead and make it louder. We're going to do 0.85. We're going to make sure we're just going to copy this whole object here. And these are way too loud. 0.5. And then let's go to floor -1. That sounds great, honestly. I really like it, actually. I think it sounds great. It's so funny. I was playing this 3 days ago, this chapter, and it felt so off. Everything felt off, and it just felt boring. And it all has to do with music and ambience and sound. It really does. Let's make sure we revert this fog. I feel like we have an issue with this fog. Yeah. Revert that so that, how does it look inside? Let's see. Looks good. Okay. I tell you what. First things first, let's go to our music. We have one, and it plays through the whole thing, I believe. Yep. Let me double check something here. All right. Guys, I got to run. I'm sorry. Check out the spring sale below for full-time game dev. Get 40% off and master everything I've learned in the last decade of making indie games and doing it profitably. You also get 2D and 3D Art Pro completely free. 9 days left. You'll learn Unity, Godot, or Unreal, whichever one you want to learn, how to get published, how to secure funding from Kickstarter, how to hit the Steam front page, how to get press coverage,